So today we have major concerns to discuss ahead of our game tomorrow, or let me say ahead of our subsequent games. And we've discussed one before, which happened to be the case of Alejandro Balde, our left back, being out for about 3 weeks, and possible replacement or thereabouts. Now we also have Robert Lewandowski, who has semitendinosis and is going to be out for only God knows how long. But then in the media, they are pushing the narrative that he's going to be out for 3 weeks. The first question, or let me start by saying that congratulations to us for getting that 3 points. That beautiful 3 points that we got, and for pulling that amazing comeback that we pulled against Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo is that team. Aspas. We all know how Aspas. I think removing Aspas in that game was what killed the game for Celta Vigo, because Aspas over time has always been a threat for Barcelona, and if he had left Aspas in that game, we might have actually suffered. But then he removed Aspas, and I'm gonna say a huge shout out to Iglesias for getting that hat trick that he got against Barcelona. But then that's not my bone of contention. The first thing I'm here to say now is, when I made my review or my reaction video after our game against Celta Vigo the last time, I said it that I was not expecting Hansi Flick to remove Ferran Torres. I was expecting him to remove Lewandowski, because Lewandowski has been playing. He has been playing back to back to back to back to back, and I expected that he was going to get moments of rest. I expected that we were going to rest him ahead of our big nights. We have Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid. We have the first and second leg against Inter in the Champions League. So I was expecting Hansi Flick to rest Robert Lewandowski instead ahead of our big nights. Then give Ferran Torres more time to give him more minutes to prove himself, and to also build his confidence even more than he already has. Not to mention the goal that he scored. He scored a very beautiful goal. So I didn't see a reason. And even removing Ferran Torres in that game, we could all tell that Ferran Torres was obviously upset when he was removed. And I think the reason is because he knew he had more to offer. He knew that he knew he could. Ferran Torres is that player that he's that player that he's always there when you expect him. He's that player that whenever you need him in the box, you find him there. He knows how to position himself very well, and he knows how to hustle his way out for balls. He's not just about the fact that his attacking style is just something that we need really, really, we needed, or I mean that has been helping the team so far. So there is no reason for us not to trust him, or no reason for Hansi Flick not to trust him. Now, before I talk about that, let me because I obviously want to talk about our possible lineups in our subsequent games till Alejandro Balde is back, and till Lewandowski. Of course, we know Lewandowski is going to do everything. He's going to do everything in his power to ensure that he returns before all of these our games. But likely to miss he's obviously going to miss our game against Mallorca. He's obviously going to miss the Copa del Rey, obviously going to miss our Copa del Rey final, and he's obviously going to miss the first leg against Inter. Now, what we don't know is if he's going to be back after these games, but if not, our fingers are crossed. Now, to start with, let's start with the case of Alejandro Balde and Gerard Martin. It's obvious that Alejandro Balde is not going to be available for only God knows how long, say 2-3 weeks given. And we already know he's not going to be available in the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid. Now, my problem is we cannot rely on Gerard Martin. We saw how clearly we suffered using Gerard Martin in our match against Dortmund. And not to mention how clearly we suffered when we used him when we played against Celta Vigo. They were clearly targeting his position. They were clearly targeting his side, because they knew that he was the weaker link. Now, my problem now is, why is it that Hansi Flick does not trust Hector Fort enough for him to allow him to play that position? Now, we saw it after the game that we played against Celta Vigo, that Hector Fort himself was really, really angry. Hansi Flick doing his normal ritual, going to the players one after the other, shaking them, talking to them, and Hector Fort clearly was not in for it. He walked out. He walked out to walk straight into the dressing room, because why not? This is the time. I'm part of the people that actually think Hector Fort can deliver even more than Gerard Martin. I think even Hector Fort himself, while we were playing against Celta Vigo, he noticed that Gerard Martin was just not that guy. He noticed that Gerard Martin was not that player for that season, and he knew if he had come on, he could have given us something different. He could have offered something better, a fresh leg for that matter. So my problem now is, I don't understand why Hansi Flick has refused to trust Hector Fort. We have seen how creative Hector is. Not to mention, this guy can play as a left back and equally as a right back. This is a player that we can trust. This is a fresh leg that we can count on. I would rather we go for Hector ahead of Gerard Martin, because Gerard Martin, for me, is just not that guy. Gerard Martin, for me, is just not doing what we want. He's making me suffer. He's giving me mental meltdown. And I think Hansi Flick needs to do something about it. Now, this is the case of Lewandowski. I still intend to talk about Hansi Fati. Now, like I said, I was not expecting Lewandowski to play. I was not expecting him to play against Dortmund. Neither was I expecting him to play against Celta Vigo, because this man needs rest. We know that we need him. We have bigger games. We have bigger games. We have bigger games. Not to mention, there are active players. There are players that can actually fill in the position for Lewandowski. I don't know why Flick is finding it difficult to trust in all of those players. I mean, how do you expect them to feel? I don't blame Hector if he's actually giving if he's actually giving reactions, considering the fact that he knows that he could actually go on that field to perform and deliver for you, but you did not use him. If I was in that position, it's not easy traveling with the team every now and then and not getting minutes. Now, in the case of Lewandowski, now that Lewandowski is injured, this is what I think. Well, Balde and Lewandowski is out, I think it's best if we adopt the 3-4-3 system with Kunde, Inigo Martinez, and Kubarsi holding our defensive line. We all know how they do with long passes. We all know how they are when it comes to breaking lines. Okay, so now, yes, we should have the defensive line of Kunde, Inigo Martinez, and Kubarasi. And what this might do for our team, or what this might do for our squad at the end of the day, is that it is going to force our wingers to cover the entire flanks, to play the entire flanks. Yes, I understand. But I mean, Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, clearly they are players that we know that they do not only attack, they also come back to defend. I mean, our wingers are going to be able to cover, the entire flanks. And like I said, it's a good thing. Rafinha, I mean, unlike Lamine Yamal, we know Rafinha is not really good with, he's not really good when it comes to dribbling. But then, ball movement and everything is one thing. Rafinha is that engine when it comes to ball movement and the pace. But then there's Lamine Yamal also. We all know Lamine Yamal is a great dribbler, and he creates huge chances for us. So yes, I think adopting the 3-4-3 position with the back of Kunde, Inigo Martinez, and also Kubarsi, not to mention, they can maintain our high defensive line for us. They can maintain a high. I do not trust Gerard Martin at this point, because we have crucial games, we have decisive matches ahead of us, and I cannot bear to see my team go down just because of one player. While Lewandowski is out, of course, we all know that we have to settle for Ferran Torres. Now, the thing is, there is nothing wrong if we actually have a Dani Olmo as our false nine again. We all know how Olmo is a threat in our attack. We all know how, especially. See, my prayer is just that Olmo this season, for the rest of this season, manages. I mean, we need to be able to protect Dani Olmo from any form of injury this season. We all know how effective Dani Olmo is, and if he's able to stay for the rest of this season without getting injured, I think Dani Olmo is a crucial player, is a key player for us this season, all through the rest of the season. And if we have Dani Olmo locked in, if Dani Olmo is actually locked in, injury free for the rest of the season, bro, I tell you guys for a fact that we are gonna cook. We are definitely gonna cook. So this is what I think. When we have the back three of Kunde, Inigo Martinez, and Kubarsi, we need to leverage Lamine Yamal's technical qualities. We need to leverage his technical abilities. And in order to do this, we are going to need Gavi. Gavi is that player that can stretch compactness of the opponent. And defensively, Gavi, I mean, for the past few weeks, we can all tell that Gavi is now in a better form. He's now in the form that he was in, pre-ACL injury. And, playing Dani Olmo as a false nine is actually going to help us in such a way that we all know Dani Olmo is that player that we know he's a game changer, and he can play in tight spots, and he has a way of linking up his plays, and he knows how to draw out defenders. So this will ensure that Dani Olmo will now drop deep with Gavi now moving in the opposite direction. And there's Rafinha, who we all know how creative he is. And if you want Rafinha to be very, very effective, I think since we are settling for this formation, it is best we allow Pedri play close to him because unlike Lamine Yamal, like I said, Rafinha is not that player that can make successful dribbles that much, and you would need someone that can actually create, be creative with ball. It would need someone that can actually, we should surround Rafinha with players that can actually give him line breaking passes. So yes, we would need Pedri to stay close or to play closely with Rafinha. And now, of course, for our forward, of course, we all know that we need Ferran Torres now. And Ferran Torres, the minutes that you were so pissed about in the last game, this is where you're going to get more than enough minutes. And you're not just getting more than enough minutes. You're getting more than enough minutes where you get to prove yourself to the squad, where you get to prove yourself to yourself. And we know Ferran and Rafinha actually they complement themselves so beautifully in the sense that Ferran Torres is actually very, very influential in different zones. And when we push our opponents into a compact defensive shape, it is essential that Rafinha has his freedom. And now this is exactly how effective, or this is where Ferran Torres' effectiveness will come into play and will be useful for us. It leaves Rafinha with the ability to move to go wild and to be to play very, very freely and also be creative. I've said it before. I said it in my last one of my videos that if you want Rafinha to be very, very creative, allow him play really, really freely, and he's going to enjoy himself and also be so creative. Of course, we have to play Mallorca. We have to play El Clasico in the Copa del Rey final. We also have to play first and second leg against Inter, and also our subsequent games. So let's see what Flick will do. But then my major concern again now is Ansu Fati. We also how pissed Ansu Fati was in our game against Celta Vigo when he was already warming up, and he expected, or he thought he might actually come on to play. He thought he might actually come on and get minutes, but then instead Paul Victor came on, and then he just went back, removed his bib, and then he kicked. Jeez, I was gonna say he kicks the bucket. Of course, it's upsetting because Ansu Fati. We all know how Ansu Fati was. We all know how Ansu Fati was before his injury. We were all singing his praises, bro. We were all calling Ansu Fati the next Messi. But then. This is even the time where Ansu Fati needs to come on more. One beautiful thing about this is I know that the moment this guy plays, I know that the moment he goes in front of the goal, I know that the moment he gets to score one goal, his mentality, his willingness, his spirit will get higher, his morale will get higher, and he would want to do anything, everything to prove himself. I don't know, man. I don't know. The painful thing for me right now is the fact that Barcelona, we have more than enough players. We have good players. We have players. We have players that can actually make it easy for us to rotate our squad. What exactly is Hansi Flick doing? I mean, we've seen Ansu Fati majorly in every of the training sessions. He's always on the winning team, always. And we get to ask questions. Why is this guy always on the winning team in the training session? I do not care. I do not care. Ansu Fati is always on the winning team, which means in the training session, Fati is cooking. He's cooking. So yes, let him cook for us on the field of play. Let us see him cook. We go up against Mallorca tomorrow. I sincerely hope that our team can stay locked in. I really, really do hope that we can stay locked in our game. Bro, I don't want to take any chances, man. I do not want to take any chances. And I want to believe that even Hansi Flick himself would not take any chances because this is now the crucial part of the season. This is the decisive part of the season. So I'm going to expect Hansi Flick. I'm going to trust him to make the necessary decisions. And then, of course, Dani Olmo as a false nine, we already know he's going to be a killer. Ferran Torres, please stay locked in. Please, this is a simple plea to you. I need you to stay locked in because now we are depending on you. we are going to miss Lewandowski. You know, his experience, the way he comes down the team. We are gonna miss Lewandowski, but please ensure that missing Lewandowski is not going to be too much on us. And then, and then, I really, really hope Lewandowski and Alejandro Balde gets better soon because, bro, we are gonna need them. We are really, really gonna need them. But then, let me know if you think. Let me know if you think we should still keep playing with Gerard Martin, or I mean, if you, I mean, let me just know what you think about our defensive issues and our attacking issues. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you'd rather. I mean, I've seen a lot of persons saying they would play Ansu Fati as a 9. Let me know your own thought. Let me know who you think should fill in for Lewandowski in that position, and just let me know your thought about this whole thing in the comment section. Of course, please don't forget to also like, share, and also, subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name remains Adejoke Adebisi, and thank you so much for your support thus far. I do not take any of it for granted. I do not take any of it for granted. Your comments, your likes, your shares, it goes a long way, a really, really long way for me. Yeah. So, I'll see you guys again tomorrow after we go up against Mallorca in the La Liga, and also to get our 3 points. But until then, Visca Barça, Visca El Catalunya.